Here we are. Talking about digitalization and transformation, innovation in hospitality, it's kind of difficult because hospitality has been it is a very traditional industry per se. And digitalization is making a big change. It's coming like a bit of a tsunami in our industry. And it's changing the way we operate. It's changing the way we interact with people. It's changing in many ways the way we always been told to do things. But we need to learn. So I want to start with the first statement, because I think it's important to start from the beginning. We tend to believe that technology solves our problems. Technology does not solve our problems. Technology accelerates the processes. So think about train. With technology, a train can go faster. You know, if you reach a destination in an hour, with technology, you can do it in half an hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. But if the train goes in the wrong direction, you don't solve the problem, you just accelerate the risks. So in our industry, you know, some of the time we tend to say, hey, why don't we implement technology in this area? And we think that by implementing technology, this area will get better. At the beginning, we need to fix the problem first and make sure that the process is right, because the technology can certainly accelerate the process of transformation, but it needs to be fixed at the very beginning. Otherwise, your problem will be amplified. So digital innovation is not just about technology. Innovation is about changing the mindset. And particularly in our industry, where we've been told for many years about doing things in a very certain way, I think that before we move into a technology environment and applying technology and innovation, we need to change people's mindsets. So why hospitality? Why are we taking hospitality as an example of digital transformation? I think what we don't know, we don't realize that hospitality encompasses a variety of professions. You have accounting, you have sales and marketing, revenue management, cleaning, maintenance, you know. That's all professions within hospitality. When people say, I work in hospitality, doing what? What are you doing in hospitality? So the thing is that technology will apply and will transform those people's jobs in many different ways. But it's all in one industry, hospitality. So when we think about hospitality, the challenge is not only changing one single job, it's applying this change to very different professions which are within our scope of work. And that will impact the people's job in many different ways, but we don't realize it. So now if you think in maintenance, you work for a KPMG, do you work in consulting? You still work in maintenance, right? But you work for a consulting company that will apply technology to that maintenance guy. So I think that's a challenge in hospitality. It's applying those changes to many different professions. So why are the changes happening? Let's take a step back. Why are these all changes happening in our industry? And technology in advance. So Internet of Things. You know, there's many things that we have available today we did not have in the past. So technology creates new opportunity, creates appetite for optimization, creates an appetite for transformational jobs. Technology has implemented very many changes. Customer expectations are changing. They have technology in their own homes. They have technology in their own personal lives. They want to see technology when they come to the hospitality sector. And they want to see the same thing. They want to experience the same thing, experience probably things in many different ways. We're going to see later how technology will be applied to every single field. Competitive landscapes. It is very important to understand that today the go-to-market is crucial. The time to market, the go-to-market is very crucial. In the past, what we did, when we had a project, we need to test it, try it, and then implement it. Today, sometimes you don't have the time to test it. You just implement it and fix it as you go, because the time to market is essential. And I can see many small companies moving much faster than the big giants. We saw that during the pandemic. We had lots of clients, small and big. And I can tell you, our best clients were the small clients, because they were the ones more active. They had to go on the market. They had to go faster to stay in business. The big giants were a little stable, right? So today, act fast, and the go-to-market is very important. Cost efficiency. Certainly, the technology will bring a lot of efficiency in the way we operate. That's a big change. Some of the professions are at risk. I don't know. We'll see later on. But certainly technology will bring lots of innovations in our field. We have a huge amount of data today, huge amount of data, which we didn't have in the past. What do we do with all this data? Customer information, preferences, way of living. I mean, from the web, from the, the way we, collect data in the past was personal questions, interactions, surveys. We do have a huge amount of data today available on trends, on dynamics of the business. So it apply to customer experiences, will apply to the business, will apply to the cost efficiency, but a huge amount of data available is making a big change. Globalization connectivity, today, we are in touch with a variety of different people. Lots of people are traveling today. Within, inside and outside our companies, we are in touch with a very diverse audience, culturally, socially. And there's so many different variables that apply to this audience. How do we attract people from different culture? How do we identify the preferences from different culture? Technology will help. Transformation will help. We know much more about different way of living, way of purchasing, personal values. There's a lot of things that today are happening. Digitalization comes with a price. One of the prices is cybersecurity. Are we ready for it? In our industry, we're not. We tried. We're not. We can see example of trying data breach every single day. We're not built to be a safe place. We're built to be interacting with people, to exchange information, to talk to people, to communicate with people. And today, what we learn about customer preferences sometimes comes with data protection. How much data do we collect from the customers? The more data we collect, the more we expose those customers to potential risk if this data is shared outside. It comes with a price. So cybersecurity will come into our industry very big because we need to be conscious of, yes, we need the data of the clients. Yes, we need information. How do we store it? How do we make it safe for the clients to share the information? Because at one point, we're not willing to share more information. Everybody was on social media years ago. And then I said, wow, this social media will stay forever. Wait a minute. How many pictures do I share? Do I really want to share a picture of a party where I was going nuts? Maybe not, because that picture will stay around for years. So now, we need to be more conscious about security and data processes. New generation behavior. I share a little story with you. A few weeks ago, I was with my daughter. I was going to Milan, and we were in the car, and it was about lunchtime, and I said to my daughter, I know a restaurant there. When do we stop for lunch? It's a good restaurant, but make a reservation because they're always very busy. So she's 25. She studied psychology, and she was sitting next to me in the car, and 5 minutes later, she was still looking at the phone. I said, Valentina, are you calling the restaurant? Are you booking it? I said, yeah, Dad, I'm trying, but the app doesn't work. And then I made a very wrong question. I said, Valentina, can you just call them? And she was looking at me like I was a dinosaur. I said, Dad, call? I said, yeah, call a restaurant. I said, no, we don't call restaurants anymore. We book on the app. I said, okay. So she was prepared to change the restaurant before making that call because it says, I need to book through the app. The app doesn't work, I change the restaurant. And then I said, out of curiosity, how do you choose a restaurant in your own word? It's referrals, reviews. I said, Dad, I go on TikTok. I said, sugar, how much time and money did I spend in training my people to answer the phone properly? How much investment in marketing I made on all this social media, advertising, I should choose a restaurant on TikTok. I said, I'm doing something wrong here. So, the changing of behavior of new generation is very important to understand how do they interact. And in their world, they are interacting. So the question is, innovation is there, change is there. The only thing we can do is to adapt, because we need to adapt to a new way of people living. How many times have we seen this? I was with my son a couple of months ago, sitting in a restaurant, and next to us, there was a table of teenagers, each one of them looking at their phone. And I said to him, hey, tell me the truth. He's 21. Tell me the truth. Are you doing the same with your friends? Are you not sad, sitting with your friends and talking to somebody else? And he said, Dad, they're not talking to somebody else. They're talking among themselves. I said, really? Yeah. Probably there is a chat in which two people from another restaurant, and they're talking to them and talking to the friends in front of them and to the friends in the other restaurant. I said, oh my God, we're losing control. But that's the way they interact. Let's not be judgmental, right? Okay, for a minute, because I would say, hey, this is not interaction. This is not human interaction. For them, it is. It's a human interaction. You have the person in front of you and just WhatsApping each other. Come on. But for them, it's fine. It's a reality. So are we assuming the reality and say, how do we integrate that new attitude in our way of working today, particularly in the industry where human interaction was key? What we learn, what we teach, is to be empathy. But digital innovation is certainly important for the hospitality industry and for every industry. What are the advantages of it? Enhancing guest experiences, certainly improve operational efficiencies, and drive innovation in service delivery. Now, you will say, okay, we know all this, but Antonio, what are the areas of opportunity? Thank you for asking that question. Content technology. I was in Las Vegas a few months ago for a conference, and I don't know if you know the MGM Grand. It's a giant hotel, 3,000 rooms. One of the worst things can happen to you is queuing 20 minutes to check in. So when I landed on the plane and I was in a taxi, I received a message from the hotel that says, if you want, you can download the app and do the online check-in. I said, you know what, let's give it a try. So while I was in the taxi, I did my check-in, upload my document, so my passport, scan my passport, upload it on the app, and while I was going from the airport to the hotel, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes drive, it's a very short drive from Las Vegas airport, I received my digital key. So I skipped the queue. And I went to the hotel, I didn't need to go to any check-in desk, I received my key was activated exactly the same at the time where the check-in is anticipated to be. So at 3 p.m., my digital key was working. I went to my room, and I did all the 3 days without seeing anybody. Now, I'm a people person. I'm really here. But at that particular point in time, I was very happy not to talk to anybody, not to queue anywhere, just to do things on my own. It's fascinating how people transform. I'm somebody who, they welcome you at the front desk and they ask you how the journey was. I'm happy to do that. I like the little interaction. But at that point in time, I was there on business. I said, you know what? This is great. I don't see anybody. I do my own thing, all on my own. So now artificial intelligence, it's a big debate. I know that there's many experts in the rooms, and I'm not such a digital expert, so I just more expert in transformation and a change agent and changing companies. But I don't want to talk about artificial per se. I want to just talk about the application of artificial intelligence, just some aspect of it, into our world. One of it is particularly revenue management. Think about how many information we can integrate today when we look at revenue management. You can integrate weather forecast, airport delays or traffic. We never had that information before. And if you see that all the algorithm takes into consideration not only the demand or the customer demand, but also external factors which never integrate in our scope of work. And they say, hey, I can predict the demand based on many factors, which is, one is the market demand, and second is weather forecast. If you live in a resort and on weekends, and if the weather forecast is bad, your demand will drop. And they know how much it's going to drop. If there is an airport strike, they will say, hey, there's a strike. Don't expect the same demand. People will stay, some people will not arrive. So another application of it is interactive websites. We are very much used to show I mean, the hotel websites are bad. Bad for reservation, I would say. It's a showcase. When you try and book, it takes forever. That's why then people go on booking.com or Expedia, unfortunately. That's our fault, because we don't make them interactive enough. But with interactive websites, what happens is people will, the website will detect your preferences by how you navigate the web. If you're somebody that always look for pools, the picture on the website will not be the first picture that is on every other page. It will be a pool. If you're F&B passionate, if you're food passionate, the restaurant will be the first picture that shows you on you, because they know your preference. They see you, the way you navigate the web. So interactive websites will enable people to see first what their preferences are, without having to search and navigate. If you are a spa fan, then the spa will be the first picture. So I think the application of it will help us to define and redefine the way we communicate with our customers in a much smarter way. Internet of Things. 20 years ago, I remember at the Plaza in New York, they try and put a tablet. They put a tablet in the room to operate every single aspect of the room. Lighting, TV, call the room service. They forgot that the average age of the customers was over 70. It was a bit of a disaster at that time. But today, with the new generations, they expect to do everything with one single point of contact. You can have a remote control for TV, remote control for the curtains, remote control for the air conditioning. You don't want to do that. You have an app, and you do everything with that. And also, think about virtual reality. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. We had a big discussion the other day. I was teaching university, and with the students, we had a little debate on how they're using it. And I says, do you really want to see everything before you go on holiday? I mean, for something it's very fascinating, but if I go to Seychelles, do I want to see the sunset on virtual reality before I see it physically there? I don't. I want to see it when I go there. I want to experience there. But for some people, that's even better. They can see things first. I've tried in Amadeus campus we had a little leadership forum back in November with the glasses. What you can do is amazing. You can visit cities. You can test and see where you're going to go, your preferences. It's really fascinating. But you need to be trained for it and train people that is a new way of telling the story. Can you imagine typical travel agents? You were going there, you were relying on the travel agent experience and say, hey, can you tell me about this destination? Have you been there? Can you tell me the story? What do I need to see? And today, you go there, they put you on glasses and, do it yourself. It's a different way of interacting, very different. Now, the big data, as I said, helps you to identify the preferences of the customers. It's very important. You prepare their arrival. You know if they liked beer instead of wine, if they want a certain kind of pillows, because you know everything today, if you want to. So being a little more narrow in the customer experience, that's the advantage of it. That's one of the advantages of implementing technology, is to create a better personalized customer experience. Now, voice technology. It changes the way also we train our people. In the past, particularly when you had order room service, people felt uncomfortable in picking up the phone, and maybe you need to talk in a different language, not your own language. You're not sure that people will understand on the other end of the line exactly what you want. Today, he says, Alexa, bring me a pizza. And then 2 seconds later, somebody comes in with a pizza in your room. How easy is that? I have an example of this kind of interaction, how that's changed the way you operate your business. And years ago, I was working in Monaco, and we had a little pool on the roof of the hotel on Nikki Beach. And Nikki was a very popular pool, very popular mindset. And then some of the clients says, Antonio, we like the pool, but the service is very slow. I said, what can we do? He said, why instead of asking all the waiters, don't you put a WhatsApp service that we can just integrate what we want, and then people will deliver at the desk. So, well, okay. That was a few years ago, and that was not very popular. I can tell you, sales increased by 30%, just because people didn't feel like calling a waiter and talk to someone. Just say, I want this. What's up? And 2 seconds later, they had things delivered at their deck chair. Just make it easier for the clients. When technology is making the journey easier, than when technology makes an advantage. Now, blockchain technology, it having a big impact. Again, it's not something that we have embraced yet in hospitality, but certainly will change the way we operate payment systems, and something else. So it's just something to keep in mind. I don't want to stay too long on that because it's very technical things. We could spend a day on that, but certainly it's one of the areas where we have impact. Mobile apps, as I said, very easy to interact. When 5 years ago they told me mobile apps are dead. In reality, they're not. As long as you make them a little better, improve, and help them support your sales, support your interaction with the clients. When I was discussing about human interaction with a group of students the other day, and then I was saying, I think people not today don't want to talk to other people. They would just want to, the service, because that's a luxury for them. We were talking about luxury thing. And they said, that's exactly that. I don't need to talk to a physical person to get a service. I just want to send some messages and get the service. The interaction with the person is no longer a plus for me in some generations. Green technology doesn't apply to interaction per se, but it's certainly a change. I was visiting a vertical farm the other day, and what they can do with it, and I can do also for hospitality in terms of production and the message that gets sent out, I think it's great. What are the risks? 70% of digital transformation fail. We shouldn't be scared about that. It's a reality. Why they fail? Many different reasons. But first of all, it's because we were not ready. And I think going back to initial comments is, before you try digital transformation, make sure your processes are set right. Don't try and implement technology. Technology will solve your problems. Technology does not solve your problem. Just accelerate the process. If you go the wrong direction, accelerate the risks. So you can ask me, what's the plan? And thank you for the additional question. So what's the plan? Let's recap the benefits. Enhance guest experiences, improve operational experiences, efficiency, and drive innovation. How do we do that? First line is very important. Retrain and reskill. Today, big focus on training your people differently. It's key. People are not trained to use technology. Trends and cybersecurity are two very important factors. But first, retrain people, it's important. I can picture my sales team when they had to go from physical presentation to digital presentation during the pandemic, online. Some of them were the superstar in presenting to people, very engaging, particularly in Italy. The body language is half of your presentation. If you can't move, you lose half of the power, right? So when you put them in front of a video, they were dead. They couldn't say the same thing they were saying live. They were charismatic people. And you put them online, completely different person, unable to sell. So we have to retrain them to say, that's a new reality. How do you sell virtually? How do you engage with people? What tools do you use? Do you use Mentimeter to go back and forth with questions? Do you use something? But retrain people is key because we're not trained for that. How many of you have tried to do the presentation with ChatGPT? I tried, I failed. I tried to do a few slides with ChatGPT, right? Ask you a few questions and see whether I can give me some answers and some insights for you today. It was taking me so long, and I said, I just do it myself. I know more, or I know better, probably, but I tried. What it means that we had a meeting with a university in Rome the other day, and they were doing a study on people's reaction to change and people's fear of losing their jobs because of artificial intelligence. Because lots of people are there. And I said, and they said to me, says, Antonio, from the research we've done, we think that this will create additional jobs because artificial intelligence will be driven by somebody. So instead of saying, I replace the person with ChatGPT, I train somebody to use it properly because it's the proper use of that which is the advantage, not just replacing the person with something which is online. Now, 5 key takeaways, and we're finished. Today, we're in a definitely different position. Innovation is a fact. Change is a fact. One of the key factors is adaptability. How do we adapt to change? It's not about leading the change all the time. We can lead the change. We can be a game changer, but sometimes we just need to adapt. My mother has learned to use FaceTime and Facebook 75. I can tell you, she's now 85. She's a superstar among their friends. She teaches everybody else to put emoticons and then to do FaceTime the same age as her, as she is. Is she a game changer? She just adapts to technology, and she lives with it. Now, technology is about people, changing the mindset of people before you try and help them with technology. Technology helps people need to change their mindset, the way we operate, particularly in our industry. Our hospitality is very traditional. We never change. It's time to change the mentality and change people's mindsets and interact in a different way. Now, I love the sense of Steve Jobs, and then no disrespect to those which are in technology, which you all are, we all are, but it's about the people, not just about technology. And going back to the initial questions, get your process right before implement technology. Now, a little bit of hope, interactions will not go away. Human interaction, it will just change. You see those people around the bar and around the drink, talking to each other through WhatsApp? It's interaction. I wouldn't call it interaction, but we need to face reality. There's a new way of interacting with people. We need to adapt. This is the new way of interact. So innovation, it's part of your culture. It's part of our culture, which is to live with innovation and making sure that innovation is not a given. Today, we are living in a very, very fast-pacing world. Very fast-pacing. Customer behavior is changing. Market dynamics are changing. Preferences are changing. We are not changing as fast as our customers are. And if we don't try and catch up, we are in trouble. I think we stay within the time frame that was given. Thank you very much. I'm around for a couple of days, so if you want to track me down and share some other information or insights, I want to not just share, but learn from you, because I think there's a lot of tech people in the room. So happy to have a finished conversation with every one of you offline, lunchtime, or whatever. I'm done. Thank you.